Well, CU has its next football coach, Connor Shreve, here in the Dow Ward Athletic Center, joined by CBS 4's Eric Christensen. He makes the flight from Athens, Georgia, sees the snow, doesn't turn around. That, to me, is good sign number one. Maybe embodies that toughness he talked about in today's press conference. Rick George talked about him checking all the boxes. What's your reaction?
I think he does check a lot of the boxes. This is a guy who has great experience, not only at the college level, but at the pro level. He's coached under great coaches, Jim Tressel, Nick Saban. He played under Barry Alvarez. I mean, that's an impressive list of guys. The only boxes that he doesn't seem to check are, one, he's never been a head coach before, and two, it doesn't appear that he has a lot of experience recruiting here out west. Now, you know what they say about recruiters. They can recruit anywhere. So the second one may not be a big deal. But the first one, this will be his first time in that chair making those decisions. And I think that'll be interesting to watch over the next year or two.
The first head football coaching hire for athletic director Rick George. Instead of going kind of a G5 head coach route, coordinator, blue blood program, I think that template has been used before.
Yeah, you know, Bill McCartney came from Michigan. He's you know, widely regarded as one of the best coaches in Colorado history, and I think that's what Rick George knows, right? Rick George was here under Bill McCartney, I think, as the recruiting coordinator, and so he knows what he knows, and he got Bill McCartney here from Michigan, and that worked, and I think he's following that same route this time. I think it was sort of a trade-off, right? Like, if you wanted a head coach, you probably had to go Matt Wells at Utah State or the Group of Five level. I don't know if Colorado could have hired like a sitting head coach from a Power 5 conference school. So the next look was at coordinators, and so they went with Mel Tucker from Georgia as their defensive coordinator. And we've seen Georgia play over the last few years. Their defense has been great, but like Mel Tucker said, great players make good coaches. His job is to get a few more great players here.
Yeah, and you talk about all those programs. That's what gives me the most hope, I guess, is the guy has literally never been around a small-time program. You're talking about recruiting, too, and he's not even going to get to catch his breath for another week or two. Recruits are on campus this weekend. And it's not just about recruiting next class, as he talked about in today's press conference. It's about getting buy-in from those guys right on the other side of the field there.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about buy-in with the current team. He met with the current members of the CU football team this morning, and I just texted KD Nixon a few minutes ago, and I said, hey, how'd the meeting go? What'd you think of him? And KD texted me back saying, amazing dude, love him.
Wow.
So here's, you know, he had his first meeting with the team. I don't know how long it lasted, maybe a half hour, maybe 15 minutes, and he's already got some of the players saying, I'm on board, I love this guy. So I think his personality is infectious. They must already trust what he says, and I think, you know, there's not a lot, he admits it, like, I'm a meat and potatoes guy, I'm authentic, and I think that must come through, because if the players are already buying in, I think that speaks to how authentic they at least think he is.
Yeah, and there was certainly a sense of calmness during the introductory press conference today here in Boulder. As he goes out on that recruiting trail, the early signing period, December 19th, when I checked last night, all but 4 of Colorado's recruits had at least scheduled visits elsewhere. They've got to feel a lot better about this announcement being made. You just got a chance to sit down and do a one-on-one with Coach Tucker. What were your impressions? What did you come away with?
You know, again, I think really just a no-nonsense guy. I think if I were a parent or I were a kid being recruited by Mel Tucker, I think I would be able to trust what he says. It doesn't appear to be a lot of flash and dash and wild hysterics and having coaches sitting out in the tree in your front yard waving at you. Like, that's not what Mel Tucker's going to do. And, you know, that might work for the Jim Harbaugh and guys like that, but I think Mel Tucker is going to come in and just be a very likable, trustworthy person. And if he can get recruits here to Boulder in the past, if you can get them here, you can sell this place. You know, Mel Tucker said, I think of Boulder as like a place where you go on vacation. Well, now he gets to live here, and he can sell recruits on coming to this place that he considers a vacation destination. So there's a lot here to sell in Boulder. His job now is going to be to make the football program up to snuff to where that can be part of the sales pitch.
Right, and there was a lot of similarities I heard there to Coach Bill McCartney in that we just have to get him here. We heard that from Coach Tucker. We heard process. We heard toughness. Eric, we're going to get a chance to hear your interview on CBS later today?
Yeah, we're going to play that interview at 6 o'clock on CBS 4, so the sports airs at about 6:20. You know, the one thing about Mel Tucker that I really like, because I read something on Twitter earlier today where he said something he learned from Jim Tressel at Ohio State was, if this guy can't help us beat Michigan, we don't want to recruit him. And it kind of reminded me of the old Bill McCartney saying when he came here. Bill McCartney told his assistants, if Nebraska and Oklahoma aren't recruiting him, neither are we, because how can we expect to beat those teams if we're not getting the players they want? And so I thought that was kind of a similar way of approaching it. And so, I'm sure he's much different than Bill McCartney, but there are some similarities there, and Bill McCartney probably had the most success at this school in recent memory, so maybe that's a good omen for Mel Tucker.
Wow. All right, that is the word from Boulder as CU introduces its next football coach, head coach Mel Tucker now, and he'll have to get those boys ready because next year's home schedule features Nebraska, CSU, Air Force, USC. It's great for the fans. We'll see if it's great for Coach Tucker, but nonetheless, it has become a much more exciting offseason in Boulder.